India, the third largest consumer of crude oil and petroleum products in the world, is also one of the fastest growing global economies. We import nearly 85% of our oil needs at port locations, a major part of which is refined at various Indian oil refineries spread across the country. India's largest domestic refiner, with a capacity of 80.7 MMTPA, owning and operating 11 out of the country's 23 refineries. To ensure a running supply to these refineries, Indian Oil routinely undertakes the transferring of crude oil from its offshore receiving points located at sea to the onshore tank farms. A task proven to be anything but simple, and a process considered as one of the costliest and most complex in the world. The transfer process is carried out through a highly advanced single-point mooring or SPM system, from the high seas to underground highways crisscrossing the vast Indian terrain. Way back in the year 1978, Indian Oil installed the first SPM of the country on the western coast in the Gulf of Kutch. Today, the country has over 27 SPMs used for unloading and loading of cargo. Indian Oil operates 3 SPMs at Paradip Offshore in the open sea of Bay of Bengal and 2 SPMs at Vadinar in the Gulf of Kutch. These SPM terminals follow the catenary anchor leg mooring or CAM design. The ports at Paradip and Vadinar handle approximately 150 to 170 tankers each, consisting of VLCC, Suezmax, Aframax and coastal tankers. A single-point mooring system, SPM, is an offshore mooring point in the deep sea that is used to facilitate the loading or discharge of liquid cargo from carrier vessels. It is a massive all-steel contraption with complex configurations, anchored through an anchor chain that deftly connects the VLCC in the high seas to the offshore tank farm. These points are connected to the tank farm through subsea pipelines that transport crude oil from the vessel, that is tankers, to shore tank farm through the SPM system. As the process deals with precious imported crude oil handling and is conducted in the midst of vast oceans, a great deal of caution has to be constantly exercised to avoid ensuing risk or damage. Indian Oil is privileged that over 6,500 tanker operations at Vadinar and more than 1,100 tanker handlings at Paradip have been successfully undertaken by its well-trained mariners and all stakeholders without affecting the flora and fauna of the fragile marine ecosystem. The entire process of transfer is spread over multiple stages, each of which faces its own set of intricate challenges. Stage 1. Anchoring and mooring. In Stage 1, as a vessel approaches the SPM's floating buoy, it is anchored to the seabed. One of the most significant challenges that confront the transfer is in the event of an oil spill. The vessels therefore do not only depend on their own anchorage, but are also fastened by smaller ships around them so as to avoid excessive movement due to the wild winds, continuous waves or the water current, and minimize risk of spillage at all costs. Once anchored, the vessel is then moored to the SPM buoy using a hawser arrangement with the help of a specialized diving and mooring crew. The crew consists of trained divers and technicians that dive into the sea and physically move the floating hose strings right under the vessel bow from where they are hoisted by a crane and connected to the tanker manifold. Stage 2. Connecting hose to tanker. In Stage 2, the vessel crew ensure that the hoses are tightly secured to its transfer system in order to avoid any mishaps. These hoses, though designed to withstand repeated traction and bending stresses, require regular maintenance and replacement to ensure breakage or leakage-free transfers. The crude oil is then pumped through various interlinking paths, starting from the hoses to the buoy, then to the storage tanks onshore. Stage 3. Product transfer. The product transfer system of the SPM is located at the heart of the mooring buoy. The system transfers products to and from the carrier vessel from the pipeline end and manifold (PLEM) located on the seabed. Flexible hoses, known as risers, connect the subsea pipelines to the buoy for crude oil transfer system. During this process, the rotating part of the SPM that is connected to the vessel allows the vessel to move freely throughout 360 degrees around the buoy, orienting itself to take the most favorable position in relation to the wind, current and wave climate. The complete transfer is a long and demanding process involving continuous monitoring and a minimum of 12 to 15 crew members physically engaged in it at any given point of time. The crew is often at the peril of suffering grave injuries while carrying out tough tasks as part of the transfer. Once received at the onshore facility, the crude is then pumped and distributed to various refineries for the refining process by another network of pipelines. Despite the challenges, the SPM system has proven to be the most efficient and effective way to carry out crude oil transportation. Multiple benefits of SPM. Ability to handle extra large vessels including VLCC and ULCC. It does not require ships to come to the port, thus saving fuel and time. Ships with high drafts can be moored easily and large quantity of cargo can be easily handled. For a long time now, Indian Oil has been braving this demanding and onerous task in collaboration with its dedicated workforce. In the blue yonder, where the blue of the ocean and the blue of the sky meet, the horizon nearly blurs. But the operations of the SPM, VLCC and the tugboat in tow go on nonchalantly. Indian Oil, in service of the nation.